appears to be the reestablishment of the Oso Town Council. I'm not dead sure what that outfit ever did, but they haven't done much for a very, very long time. It was suggested that what they might want to do is, instead of just becoming a town council, is become a meeting area for every town council in the western area of the Antelope Valley, almost as a group, a place for anybody from any town council to be heard. They're talking about having somebody become a director. Wayne Argo is the gentleman that's doing the work on that. It was an interesting presentation. The other thing I was going to mention is that I do have the minutes from a meeting that we had here on January 20th when Cliff Graham of IPP Wind Power spoke about his generators. If anybody wants copies of that, just yell. Again, much the same thing, 415-foot towers, one per every 80 acres.
8,000 acres.
Yeah. So if you want those notes, just tell me, I'll copy them for you. What I'm on the agenda for is that lovely blue sign. I don't know if you ever rode a horse that had a burr under its saddle, but I'm starting to feel like that horse right about now. There was absolutely no reason to put that sign up. I know, because when we got out of the Oso Town Council meeting, I drove right past the sign that said Antelope Acres is that way 14 miles. Well, I went about 7 of those miles, and now I discovered Antelope Acres has moved west. But if you go out on the roads around here and you look at those lovely green signs, Antelope Acres starts at 90th Street West on the western side, 60th Street West on the eastern side. It always has, and it still does. Anybody who lives in Fairmont knows that that's where Antelope Acres is. And the young lady who made the speech, yeah, I agree. If I want to live in Antelope Acres, I'd have gone there. I don't. This is Fairmont. I would like the people in this room to consider authorizing me, either on behalf of the Fairmont Town Council, which represents you, or as citizens, to write a letter to any town council organization that is affected by the placement of that sign, and in particular Antelope Acres, asking them why they thought they could do that. Why they didn't tell us they were going to do that. What authority did they have to do it in the first place? Because I was told that sign was on order for 2 or 3 or more months. So when we were getting set up here, they knew darn well they intended to put that sign there. That's probably my 3 minutes worth.
There's no reason for them to come past 110.
There's no reason for them to come past 90.
They come from on the other side of 90.
The Three Points Town Council faces similar boundary issues with OSO. We overlap in a large area, and we didn't even know they existed when we formed our council in '99. They apparently haven't had a meeting since '92.
That's what it was for.
Yeah. And
they had one meeting.
I heard that Antelope Acres extended their boundaries to work on behalf of defeating the Fairmont racetrack. So, because there wasn't any council representation in that area at the time. So that's what I heard. I don't know.
Actually, at that time, they were for the racetrack.
Well, then they changed their mind and they were against the racetrack, and so I don't...
Also, part of it was that there was a vacuum.
Yeah.
And so
I think we all are going to have to get together and talk about the boundary issues.
Absolutely.
And
there
give
is
and
an
take a little.
There's an association of town councils. The individuals that operate that need to do their jobs.
Yeah.
But I would like the authority of any member who's interested in telling me to be able to write a letter and to list the names of the people who will in fact say, what are you doing with that darn blue sign out there? You don't represent us. We are residents of Fairmont. Thank you.
Well, perhaps you're directing it perhaps redirecting it in a different direction, rather than the sign itself, it should be the borders that
We all
should
have
be
to work
addressed.
together to do
And
it.
if you change the border to more of a historical point and logical point, then the sign gets moved.
Right.
But again, perhaps we could do a committee on that, because I have to walk a very, I've been talking with Animal Papers about this, and what I feel like is that it's like a match. And there's a big old gasoline tank there, and it's a very delicate situation. I think there's ways we can talk about it, but I don't want to have an explosion, because we have other things that, I'm not saying I'm taking it lightly at all, but that's why, what I would like to see is, again, another committee to explore it, to decide exactly what should be the borders and stuff. And
Well, I think ultimately residents need to decide who they want to be with as far as what,
Well,
how your area is
the
defined.
area,
and-
a lot of the area that Animal Bakers has, there's probably 3 houses in there. I'm guessing, I don't know, I really don't know.
Oh, so there's not much of
And
a...
speaking of that too, I wasn't going to really bring it up because it's kind of being handled at the supervisor's level, but OSO, basically according to OSO, we don't exist. They are in charge of us. I've heard them say that. They say their border stops at 170.
That's, the
Under whose authority?
original Oso Town Council was formed in 1992. It went to 170.
But, it's like a town council, if you, after 1 year, if you don't have re-elections, that it goes up. And, you know, it's like starting some oil. I used to do that, you know.
There's a
Hey,
couple of things
come
to
on.
consider about it. Also, was a committee, not elected by anyone. It was a committee of people who got together and they said, this is what we're going to do. Apparently they wanted to stop some sort of water project. And it's in their bylaws that they'll never have another meeting unless they want to. And they never did.
We never did.
And the other thing is, all the original people on the committee are either, well, I think there might be one out there, but the rest of them have moved away.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick and Dick and...
No, that's not true.
I think Richard, well, I don't know.
Richard
Cindy, I
Dennis
don't know.
Smith are still here.
Yeah.
Well, I said-
I'm still here.
Okay. Well, see how you go by, I do know that they said that they found the paperwork out in the barn somewhere.
I can take you exactly to it, it's not in the barn.
Anyway, that's what you're gonna run into when you start moving our boundaries. Everybody else is gonna get their tit hurt. So you need to do this delicately because people are really,
Yeah, well, remember I said, I feel like it's a match and a
Yeah.
tinderbox.
Has
And
anybody
that's why I'd
checked with
rather
the
have a
Poppy Reserve?
committee do it.
I spoke to a woman at the Poppy Reserve last week and kind of mentioned to her that about the overlapping boundaries, and she said, no, they have a map, there are clear-cut boundaries for every community out here. So has anybody looked into seeing the map that they supposedly have that clearly defines these boundaries, as she had
Well, I've
said?
seen the OSO map. It's
Well,
very interesting
There's
because
supposedly, there's one at
it
the
looks
Poppy
like-
Reserve that defines
the
all the
OSO map
boundaries.
looks like a donut. And can you guess who got skipped? Holiday Valley. They just kind of around them and surround them. What is happening on this is Norm Hinkling and the Rural Town Council Association want to set up a meeting, and then people are going to start talking about it. So it's
Dave,
so yes.
I really think that all of us collectively should be more concerned about better things than a silly little blue sign. I live in Lancaster. Oh, excuse me, Neenah. I'm sorry, that must be Fairmont. I have no way of knowing where I'm at. I live